Good evening, everybody. My name is Alessio Caspanello. I'm a journalist. I'm the editor-in-chief of a local news website called Lettera M, which is based in Messina. Today, I'm going to host this discussion panel for Midnight TV about sea pollution, microplastics, and the effect on the marine environment and on living organisms and finally human beings. Coming along with us today, there are three scientists of the University of Messina. The first one is Marina Trimarchi, which is Associate Professor of Nuclear Physics at the University of Messina, and the Delegate of the Rector of the University for Scientific Dissemination and Principal Investigator of the Seashell Project. And she's going to introduce you the panel. Marina, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Alessio. Good morning to everybody. At first, I want to provide the greetings from the University of Messina governance, and I'm very proud to be here because the University of Messina this year will organize an event that is entirely devoted to the sea. Then for us, marine pollution due to microplastics is a very hot topic. I want to stress that we are very proud to be in this initiative that is Midnight TV, and then I want to thank the organizer for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, Marina. Now a brief presentation of the speakers. Serena Savoca is Assistant Professor of Ecology at the University of Messina. Serena, thank you for joining us.
Hi to everybody, thank you.
And Luca Nalbone is Assistant Professor in Inspection of Food of Animal Origin at the University of Messina. Luca, thank you for joining us.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much.
Now, on with the question. The first one is for Serena. Serena, what exactly are microplastics and what we talk about when we talk about microplastics?
So, the global production of plastic increased with high demand and because of the wide application of plastic products. Plastic is now involved in many aspects of daily life and industrial sector. The term plastic describes a wide range of polymeric materials that are treated under specific condition of temperature and pressure, and which have different properties depending on the final product required. Different additives can be added to the polymers, to the plastic polymers, such as a lubricant, colorant, antioxidant, to improve the performance of plastic, of produced plastic. This additive can include however, they represent an evolution in plastic production. They have a layer of complexity to the recycling of plastic waste. So the inadequate management of plastic has generated a heavy environmental impact, culminating in ever increasing contamination of freshwater and marine environment. So plastic debris generally can be divided in different classes on the basis of their size, such as nanoplastic, microplastic, mesoplastic, macroplastic, and megaplastics. So recent environmental concern has focused on microplastic. So plastic ranging in size between 100 nanometers and 5 millimeters, which are the most abundant and potentially harmful fraction of plastic debris in the aquatic environment. Microplastic include primary microplastic, so directly produced in this size, such as scrubber for in cosmetic industry, and secondary microplastic, so derived from the degradation of larger plastic debris. Microplastic can also be classified on the basis of their shape. We can find fragment, filament, fibers, film, microbits. Microplastic that are coming from terrestrial and marine source can enter aquatic environment through different pathways and can reach all compartments of this environment. So once released into the sea, depending on their physical properties and environmental condition, microplastic can colonize water column, water surface, sea floor, and of course, aquatic species, aquatic organisms. Their ultimate destination in the environment is mainly influenced by the density of the polymers. So plastic polymers denser than seawater will sink, while polymers with the lower density will tend to float on the water column or water surface. Also, some other process, such as colonization by other organisms on plastic surface or degradation and fragmentation process can change the microplastic density and consequently their distribution within the marine environment. And also environmental factors such as wind, tides, currents can change the distribution in marine environment. So the ubiquitous presence of microplastic in the aquatic environment has raised concern about the interaction with aquatic organisms. Microplastic present in the aquatic environment are directly exposed to organisms, and ingestion seems to be the most frequent way of interaction between microplastic and organism. So given their size, microplastic can be accidentally ingested by organisms. So in this case, we will talk about primary ingestion. Or microplastic previously ingested by prey can be an indirect source of contamination for predators, so through the trophic transfer. And in this second case, we will talk about secondary ingestion. So these have been documented in several groups of organisms, including zooplanktonic organisms, invertebrate, benthic and pelagic fish species. And around 200 species show the presence of microplastic, and the 50% of them are species of commercial interest, so destined to human consumption. The scientific community is trying to find what is the really damage caused by microplastic on aquatic species. Thank you.
Serena, thank you very much. Second question is for Luca. Luca, which effect does microplastics have on the food chain and finally on over humans?
Okay, as already said, microplastics, due to their small size, can be easily ingested by a wide range of biota, including also those intended for human consumption. There are a lot of evidence that microplastics are present in different marine species of commercial interest, such as tuna or sea bream, sea bass, anchovy, or mussels, clams, and octopus. Therefore, it's true that human can be exposed to microplastic through the ingestion of contaminated food. To exactly understand how much human can be exposed to microplastics, it's important to stress that microplastics is subjected to biomagnification process. Therefore, the level of contamination and of exposure of microplastics grows up along the food chain. Therefore, human, that is at the very top of the food chain, can be exposed more and accumulate more microplastic than other organisms that are lower in the food chain. However, despite microplastics in the environment have been deeply studied, only little is known about their occurrence in foods. Therefore, it's quite difficult to perform a comprehensive risk assessment if the level of disclosure are unknown. For example, someone said that the amount of microplastics ingested during a week corresponding almost at eating a credit card, or for example, from a muscle meal, can be ingested at least 900 of microplastics that correspond to 7 micrograms of plastics. Most of the studies about microplastic in foods have focused their attention on seafood, on fishery products. We can say that different species, different marine species, expose humans to different level of contamination. For example, mussels, due to their filtering behavior, can accumulate a lot of microplastics from the surrounding environment, and usually they are eaten whole. While, for example, fishes are usually eaten gutted, and the digestive tract is the main district of accumulation of microplastics. Therefore, gutted can reduce the level of exposure of microplastic to human. What about the effect of microplastic to human? Well, the knowledge that we have about the effect are usually thanks to studies carried out on biota, and only little evidence we have of direct effect of microplastics in human. For example, we know that microplastic can behave like a foreign body, therefore can determine once ingested mechanical damages or inflammatory response, or can determine sublethal or lethal effect, especially in the smallest organisms. In human, what we can say that after most of the microplastic are normally eliminated through the feces, while only little quantity can be accumulated, and only microplastic less than 150 micrometer in size can be cross the biological wall, like the digestive tract, and only those less than 20 micrometer inside can be absorbed. System can reach other organisms. And therefore, what I think is that to date, we have only little evidence of microplastic in foods and only little evidence of the effects of microplastics in human, and more studies are certainly needed.
Luca, thank you very much. Third question, Serena. Is the Mediterranean Sea, and in particular the Strait of Messina, heavily affected by microplastics?
So all aquatic environments are affected by microplastic, and obviously also Mediterranean Sea, that has been defined as a plastic soup because of its high concentration of plastic and microplastic found by several authors analyzing water samples, sediment, and marine organisms and several marine species. The Strait of Messina, of course, has plastic. However, I will not say that it is one of the most polluted area in Mediterranean Sea in terms of plastic pollution. However, there are some parts, such as commercial port or particular area, that can show high concentration of plastic, but it's not the most polluted area, let's say.
Thank you very much. Luca, another question for you. Can you describe international regulation about the reduction of sea pollution due to microplastics?
Okay, well, we can say that the governments around the world have started to pay attention at the plastic issue only for the past 30 years. Although regulation on plastic manufacturing, use, and recycling are certainly increasing worldwide, significant action were implemented only during the last years. Denmark probably was the first country in the world to put firstly a tax on the production of plastic, followed by Ireland in 2002, while it was Bangladesh in the same year to ban completely the use of LDPE plastic bags. In the USA, for example, only starting from the 2011, single use of plastic bags were banned. And to date, only 15 out of 50 states adopt this restriction. About Europe and about Mediterranean protection, that is probably the major concern of the European Commission on this topic. The first significant action was adopted in the 2013 with the Conference of Barcelona for the protection of Mediterranean Sea from the marine litter, when the countries of Europe decided to put limits in the production of plastic. However, the most important moment dates back to 2018 with during the G7 reunion with the Plastic Ocean chapter, when the state of the G7 decided to determine goals on this topic and set a limit of time to achieve this goal. For example, before the 2013, in these countries, 50% of all the content of the plastic items have to be recyclable. And before 2040, all the plastic items have to be recyclable. After this conference in Europe, the European Commission decided to issue the Directive 904 in 2019. And for example, in this directive was decided to ban, starting from the 2021, so starting from this year, the single use of plastic items. For example, starting from this year, the countries of Europe cannot produce, for example, dishes of plastics or cotton swabs or balloons or something like that. And what I think is that probably in the coming future, more restricted regulation will be developed.
Thank you, Luca.
Thank you.
Last question for both of you. Are there currently any scientific solution for microplastic reduction, and which is the state of the research? Serena, go on first. Thank you.
So to stop plastic production, it is 100% the main and the first solution to reduce the impact of plastic pollution on aquatic environment. However, few authors describe some method involving microorganisms or nanotechnologies for plastic degradation. However, there are no till now effective tools to reduce plastic present in the marine environment. So this is sad, but actually currently there are no solution. This is my opinion, and in general the opinion of the scientific community. I hear you agree with me.
Yeah. Yes, I can only agree with you. And the only thing that I can say is that probably more funding for the research are needed, because probably the policy strategies on this topic come from the scientific research, and therefore more research is certainly needed.
Okay, this was the last question. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Serena. Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Marina Trimarchi. And thanks to Midnight TV for hosting us. Good evening. Goodbye.
Thank you,
Bye.
too. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.